Hi all. Okay. So I'm Lakmal Arsuetana. Let me share my screen. Okay. So today's session. I'm hoping to cover how you can write Kubernetes operator and how to reduce the complexity of your platform that you build on top of Kubernetes. So my name is Lakmal Rositana. I'm working at WSO2 as solution architect. So I'm living in San Jose, California. So it's early morning to me now. Let me start. Right. To meet the customer demand, companies like Google, Uber, Netflix had to build complex systems. If you look at how these companies have evolved, they have increasingly disaggregated their architectures in order to scale. This is a combination of a trend that we have seen over 5 decades. Massively disaggregated components like microservices, serverless, and APIs are becoming the norm for us all. Greenfield development happens when you start a brand new project, as in a clean slate development. So no legacy system was lying around, no old development to maintain. But in my experience, actual greenfield projects are quite rare in business application development. Almost always you have to interact with some legacy systems and perform some kind of integration with them. Brownfield developments happens when a business decide to develop upon existing application infrastructures. In such a situation, new business functionalities can be implemented by using microservices and gradually migrate existing functionalities without doing a big bang re-implementation. Regardless of being greenfield or brownfield, in both cases, APIs are the way to expose business functionalities to your consumers, partners, or even application developers. This API should be secured, managed, observed, and monetized. This required a governance model with some kind of policy enforcement. This is where API gateway and API management are essential. An API gateway can be used as a policy enforcement point of API governance while working in sync with API management capabilities like lifecycle management, traffic control, policy control, and identity and access management. And you get the real microservice to get the real microservice benefit. These API gateways should evolve with microservice architecture concepts. That's where a special type of API gateways, that is micro gateways, will use for policy enforcement. So having all these good things in microservices, it has its own challenges. Because of this disaggregated architecture, the number of endpoints is explored. Service discovery, network resiliency, and secure communication are some of the key challenges that developers have to deal with while solving the real business problem. In addition to these developer challenges, DevOps or operational people having a separate set of challenges. They have to tune their deployment engine to roll out frequent releases without disrupting the end users. Also, increasing the number of endpoints means tracing and debugging runtime issue will be a harder and harder, and it required extra effort to put observability and monitoring tools in place. Kubernetes and its ecosystem are able to provide a way to solve many challenges that we discussed in the previous slide. Container orchestration and management, auto scaling, auto healing are some of the out of the box capabilities that come in Kubernetes. Kubernetes is not just a platform to manage continuous application, but it is a platform to build domain-specific platform with more capabilities. Because of this, we can see many platforms that build on top of Kubernetes. Service measures like Istio, Linkerd, OpenPaaS, and serverless platform like Knative are some popular platforms that build on top of Kubernetes. Last 15 years, we have worked with more than 1,000 enterprise customers and helped their digital transformation journey. With the emergence of microservice architecture, in the last couple of years, many customers start to develop microservices and expose their business functionalities via micro gateways. But in this new journey, they had to face a few set of challenges, especially how to automate and deployment by creating Docker images, Kubernetes artifacts like deployments, services, config map, secret, HPS, and so on. In many cases, they have to hire a new skilled developer like DevOps in addition to the business application developers. So this leads to a roadblock for many of our customers, and we started looking for a solution to how we can hide this deployment complexity and improve and empower their developers. So while brainstorming, we noticed that Kubernetes has some extension point where we can extend Kubernetes out of the box functionality to the operator pattern. A custom resource is an extension of a Kubernetes API. And once a custom resource is installed, user can create, access its objects by using kubectl, just as they do for building resources such as pods and deployments. You can write Kubernetes operators in many ways, but the operator framework CNCF project provide a set of developer tools and Kubernetes components that aid in operator deployment, development, and management. So this is operator hub.io. So operator hub.io is the home for Kubernetes the community to share their operators. It provides a catalog of existing operators and guidance for contributing new operators. You can see there are more than 180 plus operators are listed in this operator hub. We have seen a trend that Kubernetes communities, as well as even the platform vendors, are actively developing new operators to hide their platform complexity and improve the productivity. In WSO2, we have developed a Kubernetes operator for the API management platform. in this operator, we have introduced 4 custom resources: API, security, target endpoint, and rate limiting. Security custom resource hold security related information such as basic code, sorry, OAuth2 and JWT. Rate limiting custom resource hold rate limiting related information. Target endpoint custom resource hold the endpoint related information, and the API custom resource hold the API related information. I will explain further while I'm doing a demonstration. API developer use open API definition to design and create APIs. They can use same API definition to invoke these custom resources and that install in the Kubernetes cluster. When the custom controller of the Kubernetes is triggered and it's initialize a Kanika job to create an API gateway Docker image and push us to the configured Docker registry. Kanika is another open source project initiated by Google. So you can use this Kanika project to build Docker images while running inside the Kubernetes. After that, it will create a Kubernetes relevant Kubernetes artifacts like deployment, services, HPAs, corresponding to the API definition that provide. So as you can see, API operator has taken out of all the complexity from the developer and the DevOps by automating deployment with all the best practices that required API micro gateway deployment in Kubernetes. So in this operator, we support different deployment patterns, and we support mainly 3 deployment patterns. In first deployment is we can have a shared set of micro gateway, and when we want to expose a particular service as API, it will add it to the shared gateway. And the second pattern is we can create a micro gateway for a particular given microservice and expose as API. So we call it private jet. It's like creating, you having your own jet. So so I will do a demonstration on this scenario. So I will show you how we can have a microservice, and then we can create a API gateway by using this API operator and expose that microservice as API to the rest of the world. Then the third pattern is some cases we want to create a micro gateway along with the service. So we call it sidecar. So in that case, when the service is deployed and micro gateway also deployed within the same pod, and expose the microservice as API via the micro gateway to the rest of the world. Okay, let's let me start my demonstration. Let me see. Okay. Okay, hope you can see my terminal now. So I am running a Kubernetes cluster in my local machine. So I'm using Docker for Mac. If I use so in the default namespace, there's no ports running. If I use sorry. So in the WSO-system namespace, I have installed API operator. You can see API operator and the custom control is running. And also in the WSO2 namespace, I am running a WSO2 API manager. I will show you how that involved in the demonstration. Okay, so first I will here I'm going to deploy a backend service that is a microservice. Let me see. Okay, so my backend service, there is a product, my microservice is running now. So I can invoke for demonstration. So I will just so it's running with the node port, load balancer type. I can use curl command to invoke it. So so for this is only for the demonstration, but in production you shouldn't run with a node port or load balancer type. We can run in a cluster IP. But since I want to access and show you the output, I ran it as the node port. So you can see I can invoke the backend microservices. Here I am getting the output. Now let's see how we can create an API gateway and enforce security and other policy enforcement like rate limiting, all this via the API gateway. To do that, so let me, so I can use this. So this is the Swagger definition that, let me open it. So this is a Swagger definition that normally API developer used to design this API. So it's opening up. Okay, you can see now. So in this Swagger definition, you can see. So I have given the name, and here this is the backend. That's the product. So I'm accessing this microservice using a Kubernetes service. That is a service name products, and also I have the resources in the Swagger definition. So it is same as the how API developer is using in the API development. So now here I'm also installed the API CTL. It's like a kubectl kind of tool. Using this API CTL, you can interact with these custom resources. So I'm going to engage that API CTL and pass the Swagger definition. Now it will call the Kubernetes custom resource and pass the Swagger definition. And you can see it interact with the Kubernetes cluster and create some artifacts, some objects. Let me. So if I, so now you can see that now there's a Kanika job started. So what happened here, like when I invoke that command, it will pass a Swagger definition to this custom resource. Now it started a Kanika job to create a Docker image. So so it will take some time, like 1 minute kind of time, because my machine is now loaded with all the Kubernetes cluster and this screen sharing. So when the Kanika job is completed, we can see that it will create a Docker image of this this micro gateway, and it will push to Docker registry. So in this case, I have public Docker registry. So it will upload to my public Docker registry. So we'll wait a couple of seconds to finish the Kanika job. So if you look at the generic scenario, so all when you want to create a micro gateway, you have to create a Docker image out of this Swagger definition. So you have to use different tools to create. So what we have done is we have automated all these steps in this custom controller. we call it API operator. So when we pass the custom resources, we'll get the necessary the artifacts, and the custom controller will have all the steps to create these backend resources. And also, if I use a kubectl get APIs, you can see this is a custom resource we have installed. So this API is a custom resource. Now you can see there's online store. It will initiate in the replicas. Let me see whether our Kanika job is completed. So not, we'll give few couple of seconds. Still, it is initiating the Kanika job. You can see when we completed the Kanika job, it say okay, the one task is completed and it will start a separate API micro gateway in this cluster. Okay, now you can see still in the 0 of 1. So if we if when we finish the Kanika job, it should appear in this Docker registry. Okay, it should finish now. Okay, now you can see that Kanika job is completed and online store gateway is up and running. Now you can see in my Docker registry, the online store gateway Docker image is uploaded few seconds ago. Now we can invoke this API by using curl command again. Now if I invoke using my API definition, API gateway now, so you can see here I have not passed the correct access token. Then from the gateway and onward is do the policy check and say you don't have you are missing credentials, you don't have permission to access. Now I have to get the correct access token and pass it and access it. Now to get the correct access token, you can use developer portal. So here this is a WSO2 API Manager developer portal. So here I'm going to get a access token, so I can see the API definition. So I can subscribe to my API definition, and I can get the production key. So here I am getting the production key. So here I generated the access token. So now let me pass that token. Let me pass. So I just paste a token here as a token in our variable. So now if I pass the token to my curl command, let me clear this. Now you can see I can get the backend response, because now it's enforced token validation is happening in the API gateway, and then pass it to the backend service and return the response from the backend. Okay, now let's my deployment. So I want to show you another demonstration. Let me delete my current stuff. So I have time, yeah. So the next demonstration, I am going to show you how you can create a sidecar API gateway along with the microservice. So in this scenario, I'm going to use this the API definition. Let me open this. So here, this is the the target endpoint custom resource. So here what I'm going to do is I'm creating a target endpoint. Here I am passing my backend service Docker image, and the mode is sidecar. Since this is a sidecar, when you create a target endpoint, it will not create a Docker container or the Kubernetes pod because when you are creating API gateway only, it will creating a gateway and the service together as a sidecar and deploy. So let's see what happens if you pass this one. Now, if you use kubectl get you can see the inventory sidecar is created, but if you look at kubectl get all, you can't see any ports. Now let's use the API definition. Here again, I will open this one. So in the API definition, so we are accessing this products as the my backend service, and it is mode is sidecar. So when I use this API definition, now here, so I'm going to use this command without override. What happened here, then it will not create a Docker image and it will reuse the existing Docker image in the current registry. It will save some time to the demonstration. Now, if now let's see. So when I create this API definition with the sidecar mode now, so you can see the API gateway pod is creating, and it has two containers. So here you can see one of two is running now. Let give a couple of seconds. Two of two is running. Let's clear this. Now, if I describe this pod, you can see there's a two containers. One is for micro gateway container, so it is created my own Docker image in my registry, and it uses the backend service Docker image, and it's running as single pod in this container. Now let's see a few other things. So if you use kubectl get APIs, you can see one API gateway is running, and also endpoint is running, and so here we haven't mentioned any security policies. In this case, it used the default security policy. So, but you can have your own security policies. You can use same API CTL command to deploy these policies, and you can refer this security policy in your API definition, and it will correctly invoke the security policy and enforce. So let's try to access this service now. Okay, let me. So here, in this case, also I haven't passed the API token. So that's why I am getting a missing credentials notification. So here I have a inbuilt token with the unlimited expiration time. So I can use this token. Let me use this. Now if I access by passing that token, you should be able to invoke the backend. Now you can see I am getting the backend services respond via the API gateway. So all these two scenarios, we just pass the API definition to these custom resources, and then the custom controller will trigger and create relevant Docker images and Kubernetes artifact like deployment. Even if you look at the it create a horizontal port autoscaler services with the load balancer type. So all these artifacts are created automatically, and our end user can easily access. They don't want to create all these artifacts in this scenario. Okay, let's since I have a time, let's run another simple sample to show you how. Let me clean this up. How you can invoke the API which has the rate limiting. Okay, now so it's terminating. Okay, now it is clear. Oh, so this is the rate limiting samples I'm going to show you in this scenario here. Let me open this one. So this is the rate limiting custom resource. So here is a very simple custom resource. So what we are saying is we are giving, okay, in this case, for a 1 minute, this particular API can access for 5 times. So that's a very simple rate limit. So let invoke, let deploy this and see. So I can use the API CTL command with this YAML file. Now, if I get you can see my custom rate limiting resource object is created now. Okay, now let me create deploy the API. So before that, I will open this one. So in this, this is the PetStore backend. So we are calling the PetStore. We are creating a PetStore gateway, and in this scenario, I am going to apply the rate limit policy that I created. Let me see. Okay, see, so I'm going to use, let me see, policy. Yeah, so here I'm going to apply the same rate limiting here. This scenario also, I'm not going to use the, not going to build the Docker image. I just use the without override option. So let me. So it is creating the backends, creating the micro gateway. In this case, backend service is running in the outside. It's in internet, PetStore backend service. Now we can access the backend service via this API gateway now. Let me invoke. So in this case, I am using the same token. I have used the same token for my implementation. So now let's invoke 5 times and see what going to happen. The first, it get the response. Second, get the response. Third also good. 4, 5. The 6th time, you can see it total out. So basically, it applies the rate limiting policy that we define, and from the micro gateway, it enforce this policy and block all the requests coming to particular backend. So this is the how you can use API gateway to simplify the automation. So let's go to the presentation again. Okay, so let's look at the takeaways of this session. So if you look at the microservice help innovation and fast to market through the agility and the flexibility to choose the suitable technology stack. And in the other hand, API gateways play a major role in microservice architecture by enabling governance across the entire platform. But to get the real MSA benefit, API management platforms also need to evolve with the current cloud native technologies. And Kubernetes provide a great platform to build domain specific platforms, and the operator pattern helps to reduce complexity by allowing to introduce domain specific abstraction and automation. And so I have listed some you can so this Kubernetes WSO2 Kubernetes API operator is open source project, so you can I have put the link here. You can go to the GitHub. All the source code is open source. It has the documentation how you can try out. You can easily install using a couple of kubectl command. So what I want to share in this presentation is how you can write your own operator, Kubernetes operator, and to hide the complexity of your platform and give the real advantage to the end developer to use of this Kubernetes platform. So I can take any questions. I have I think 5 minutes more. If I have a question, I can take now. I don't see any questions. I think we can wrap up. Thank you, everyone. So thank you for having me in this conference. And goodbye.